Have to fix the hair before we go on live. All right, we wanted to do this one more time properly. We want to make sure we had the correct microphone and things like that. Just hoping that we have got good sound. Hopefully anybody listening to us can tell us that. Again, I am Jeremy Deysach, FICO Certified Credit Coach with the Credilife Credit Wellness Program. With me is
Rick Wenner, also FICO Certified Senior Credit Coach and the Credit Oracle.
Boom. All right, tonight we are doing our free credit advice Facebook Live Q&A that we do every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Central Time. Tonight's topic, we're going to let the room fill up a little bit. Tonight's topic is going to be busting credit myths. There are a lot of myths. There's a lot of misinformation out there about credit. So while the group fills up a little bit, while people get here, let's take care of some housekeeping and remind you that if you have not liked the Credit TV Facebook page yet, please go ahead and throw that page a like, give it some love. We've got some videos, video links posted up there. But even more importantly, if you have not liked, if you have not followed, and if you have not watched our videos on the Credit TV channel on Facebook, pardon me, not Facebook. What's the other one? Where's the videos?
YouTube.
Thank you. On YouTube. If you haven't liked the Credit TV group on YouTube, A, now's your chance. B, go do it and see what are you waiting for. In fact, while this fills up, we'll wait for a minute if you want to go do that.
Well, I think we should start by talking
you want to actually do this?
Okay. No, I just wanted to jump in and say where some of these myths come from.
Right.
Google, the Google machine, the internet, was invented and, of course, is the source of all things credit related.
Absolutely. Abraham Lincoln said that everything you read on the internet is 100% true. I read that. I Googled that.
And that's where Ben Franklin got all his credit.
Yeah, I got that from the Google.
Absolutely.
There are also a number of groups. You are all watching this, so you're smart enough to be in this one. There are a lot of groups on Facebook that, there are some that don't even allow credit professionals in them. It's not unlike a hospital not allowing professional doctors into it. I mean, you might go in, they might have a general idea of what's going on. You walk out looking like Caitlyn Jenner. It's not pretty. So what we want to do is we want to make sure you're getting advice by certified professionals. You're not getting credit misinformation from the millions of places out there. Those of you who haven't liked Credit TV yet, again, now's your chance. We are going to set things up here and get started with some credit myths ahead of time. But what I want to invite people to do is go ahead and in the comments section, if you are on a PC, it's going to be over there. If you're on a cell phone or pad, I believe it's down there. In the comments section, go ahead and ask questions that you wonder about or things that you think might not be true that you've heard, and we'll address some of those credit myths, and we'll either confirm them as real, we'll tell you if they're plausible or not, or we'll bust them.
We will bust them.
We'll bust the hell out of them.
Right. I think it's also worth noting that the two senior statesmen here have dealt with, and we came into this industry with a lot of our own myths. In fact, a little bit about myself. I was a loan officer before I was a credit analyst and before I got into being a credit coach. And I was amazed when I became a certified FICO certified credit coach how many myths that I proliferated as a loan officer. I mean, there were a lot of things that I thought, hey, I can lend a loan. I can lend somebody $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. And I thought I knew as much as I needed to know about credit.
Sure.
Not true. There was a lot of myths that when Jeremy and I started working together, that we needed to break or bust.
It's amazing. It's just amazing the things you hear in the mortgage industry, in banking. I've got a background of banking. I've got a background of mortgage, all different areas of finance. Some of the things that we were taught by the professionals who taught us these things, let alone what you hear from fellow employees. Some of the things we were taught,
trained on.
Yeah, trained and were put forth and are flat out wrong.
Well, I think one of the things that a lot of people value in the type of advice that we give professionally and on the free credit repair advice site is that we don't have a horse in the race. I'm not a lender trying to push you into a loan to close you on that loan in the next 45 days.
Right.
I am not subjected to what it is that I'm trying to get you into a position to borrow money for. So that gives us a lot of objectivity when it came to starting our careers and busting some of these myths. And I'd like to start off, if that's okay, with one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Start off. We got 23 people here. This is a good time to dig into some of this.
Continue to
dig into some. Put your
content.
I'm just wiping up the energy drink. My mouse is energy drink.
We don't have to put it on camera if they don't see it.
It didn't happen. I tried telling it to my wife, and yeah, exactly. It's a Rafiki. It does not matter. It's in the past.
One of the things that I was taught as a loan officer, and it came out through a lot of the modeling software that I would use, would be the idea of utilization of credit. I actually told, 30, 40, 50 borrowers a month that 20% or 30% utilization was the proper percentage to maintain revolving credit.
Yeah, we heard 30. People love themselves some 30%.
30% will get you into the loan at 30%. Okay, 30% will get you in there. Now, what was happening is one of two things. One, the modeling software would get your score high enough that if you happen to have paid it below 30%, it would get you into the loan they were trying to pre-approve.
Right, you just limboed right under the bar.
Just happened to get
just good enough.
Just good enough to get that loan closed.
Right.
The other place that anecdotally I've gotten out over the years is the idea that 30% utilization comes right from the FICO score chart.
Yep.
That says 30% utilization.
Right.
Is the factor they use on the credit score. They're two separate things.
Right, right. And the thing is, credit utilization makes up 30% of your score. That doesn't mean you use 30% of your card. 30% of your score is made up of utilization. Now, as you've seen in our group that we have, and you've seen Chaz Earthman, one of the FICO Certified Credilife Coaches, did a video called Credit Machine, where he talks about the 1 to 3%. So while it makes up 30% of the score itself, the credit utilization, the balance to limit ratio you want on that card is only 1 to 3% a month.
Correct. The lower, the better. So in the spirit of Mythbusters, the idea of your utilization or your balance to limit ratios needing to be at 20 or 30% is a myth that...
Yeah, that'd be busted. That's what we got right here. This is busted.
It's busted. It's out of there.
Absolutely.
It is a myth.
30% is a myth. It's misinformation. So if you're in a group that's not our group, A, shame on you, but B, but throw that out there sometime. It's kind of interesting. Watch how they react to being told that their untrained information isn't right. It's funny. It's funny.
I'm going to throw one other myth out there while we're waiting
Sounds
for
good.
some more followers to get up. So you're probably wondering why I have this nice Credilife beanie hat on here. So I was in an airport in Charlotte, North Carolina, about 15 years ago, and I was sitting I had a layover, and I was waiting with some gentlemen. We were watching NASCAR of all things. Funny thing in North Carolina, they watch NASCAR.
I've heard that.
They do.
They like
go around left-hand circles.
They like that in ballet.
Well, they might down there. So I'm sitting in here waiting for my flight. And someone walks up to me and they said, "Oh, where are you from?" And I said, "Oh, I'm from Minnesota."
Oh, yeah. A guy can do that, I suppose.
And they said, "Well, what do you do in Minnesota?" And I said, "Well, I told them at the time I'm a sales executive." And they said, "Well, what do you do in your spare time?" I told them I played softball. And I'm not kidding you. This guy said, "Well, do you go around the base paths with the snowblower?" Yeah.
That's how you clear them.
That's exactly right.
Those of you who've never been to Minnesota, we average 12, 13, 14 months a year of snow.
Sometimes 15.
15. Well, that's a bad one. Yeah, that happens
for sure.
So other myths are, well, we got a couple that are already. Let's bust into the group because we've got a couple of things already asked. Let's start off near the top. Actually, let's start off near the top here. All right, loud and clear, Jeremy. Let's roll up. So this goes from bottom to top on the commenting here. Did you guys happen to work out a military discount price? Gina asked. No, we are working on it. We're doing a project week. This is one of them. I do have it on the list. I wanted it Monday. I'm not a patient guy. Anyone who knows me knows that. We're still working on that. But all right, let's get into this. Tiffany, one of our moderators, asks. Well, you got to respond on camera if you want to respond. That's Chris Kruger in the background. So Tiffany had said, it's a good idea to pay the collections to zero. It'll raise your score and be removed from your report. Have any of you ever heard out there that, hey, if you pay on those collections, your score is going to go up? Maybe a lender told you to do that. Maybe a group or some other place you read that told you, pay on them and they'll get deleted from your credit and your score will increase, right?
Well, a lot of what I've found is that when you go and you have a goal, let's say your goal is next spring, I'm going to buy a house. Mm-hmm. You naturally have the inclination to think, well, these debts that I maybe didn't pay in the past, right, are going to now need to be taken care of and paid today to give me the better credit I'm going to need to buy that house next spring.
Right.
I mean, that's kind of a lot.
Yeah, that makes sense. You know, I owe a debt and I'm trying to get better credit. Let's pay the debt, right? Yep. Is that how it works?
Well, I was told since I was 4 or 5, make your bed, wash your hair, brush your teeth, go to school, do your homework, and pay your bills.
Pay your bills. Absolutely. So the question is this a myth? Is paying on your credit that you owe your collections, is paying on them to wipe them off of the credit, is that good? Is that going to raise your score right away? Are they going to delete them now that they're paid off from your credit report? What's the answer on that one? Yes. No? No. It's a myth, guys. It's a myth. If you pay on an older collection or pay on a collection that's reporting older on your credit report, your score will actually drop, not go up. Here's why. You give a new date of last activity to an already negative account, bringing that current, dropping your credit score. So while I'm not telling you not to pay your bills, because that'd be a myth, that'd be bad advice. What I'm saying is, from purely a credit standpoint, while paying off those collections, it's a step in the process. It's not necessarily the first step. What would the first step be?
Verification.
Verification. What are we verifying?
You're verifying all kinds of different information. But the first thing you're going to verify is whatever was reported on the credit report.
Okay. So what Rick means by verification is you've got to check with these credit reporting companies, Equifax, Experian, TransUnion, and say, guys, with all due respect, to oversimplify this and go Johnny Cochran on you, if you can't prove it, remove it. If the glove does not fit, you must acquit. If you cannot prove it, remove it. So with all due respect, prove it. Prove it's real, prove it's mine, prove it's accurate, prove it's up to date, prove it. And if they can't verify, if they can't validate, if that's what you demand, they can't document that this information is accurate and factual and current and verifiable today, not back when it was reported, then by law it gets permanently, when done correctly, done through letters, not online. It's a whole different topic for a different day. But if it's not approved, it gets removed, permanently deleted from the credit profile. Now that's the time to go and settle that collection, right, when it's removed. And why?
Correct. Well, the biggest reason why is now you have the leverage. Before, when you were thinking, oh, I'm getting this tax return, I got to go out and pay that bill, who had the leverage? The collection company. The collection company.
You got something you want. You want a better score. They're holding it down. They've got the leverage. They lose their reporting privileges. All of a sudden, you got something they want: money.
Money. So, in the interest of Tiffany's question, which is kind of 2 myths here. The first one, paying on a collection, all right, is somehow going to make your score go up. That is a myth, and that is busted. Busted myth. The second part of that is that by paying on, right? We'll just frame it this way. Does paying, or is there the potential of when you pay on a collection for it to improve your credit?
For the most part, I'd say busted, but if it's exceedingly recent, if this thing just went last month, all of a sudden the T-Mobile collection shows up last month on your credit report, that's recent activity already. That's a new date of last activity. So will paying on a negative account, will paying on that collection raise your score? It is plausible. What it's going to come down to is the date of last activity on that collection itself. So busted to plausible. That's what we got.
Awesome. Thanks, Tiffany.
Great question, Tiff. All right, what's next? Susan says, thank God I found you. We do have a military discount. Oh, Chris has got that done. We're working out another one that's just a little bit more exciting. Susan Washburn asks, so why do credit companies give such high credit limits? Well, that's not so much a myth because we know they do it. That's damn profitable.
I'll make it into a myth.
It's profitable.
They've given me this $5,000 line of credit going into the holidays.
Right.
because they really enjoy having me as a client.
Oh, they love you.
They do. Why not? I almost look like Santa Claus.
Almost. You're getting there. You got like three buffets off.
Well, if I grew out the beard.
We gotta go to med.
So it's a good question, and here's the answer to it. Banks make money on interest rates. They make money on interest rates by charging you that interest rate on what you charge on that limit.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a temptation. It's a carrot. They dangle it out in front of you, and especially this time of year. They love it when I play Santa Claus. They love it when I go to Target. They love it when I love all my friends and give Jeremy a gift. I'm not going to tell him what he's getting, but they love it because they know they have the opportunity to charge me 18% interest on Jeremy's gift.
Right. So I mean, it's they love you. They love you until your wallet's empty, and then they don't love you anymore. Then we get back to that collection.
Exactly.
All right. Great question though. All right, let's move up. See some more myths. Cassandra, Elaine. You do not need a credit score to buy a house. Well,
that was one of the myths we wrote down, which was no credit equals good credit.
Well, I'll tell you what, specifically only in the house situation. You don't need a credit score to buy a house. Well, that's confirmed. If you've got $250,000 in cash in your pocket, there are people who will sell you a $250,000 house. But when it comes to getting a mortgage, this is where we get into Rick Smith.
Absolutely. So the idea would be that why do I need to manage? Let me reframe the question. Why do I need to manage a $300 or a $700 or $1,000 credit card or credit line in order to finance a house? Okay.
Right.
So let's go back to when Jeremy and I worked at a loan desk and we were in charge of lending out a bank's money. So here, let's just role play this for a second. So I'm the borrower, Jeremy's the loan officer, and I walk in and I have never demonstrated the ability to manage any amount of money, let alone a $300 or $1,000 line of credit. How much more risk is there now on Jeremy lending me $250,000 when I haven't demonstrated the ability to manage $1,000?
It's a 50-50 shot. Guy might pay his bills. Guy might not pay his bills. Tell you what, guy, come back in a couple of years when you've got some credit history.
Yep. And that's all it comes down to. Banks do not have an infinite amount of money to lend out. I know we sit here in our little hovels and wherever you live and you think, geez, these banks have all this money. They must have an infinite amount of it in a vault. That's not true. They are going to pick the risk and choose the risk associated with the one that has the least amount of risk to lend that money to. And they do that in the form of the credit score. And that credit score reflects the use of a $300 or $1,000 line of credit.
There are some very popular gurus out there right now that are anti-credit. There's one in particular. I'm not going to name him by name because his name's Dave Ramsey. And what he says is, don't use credit. Don't use credit. Don't use credit. Pay cash for this. Pay cash for that. I don't know the best way to say it, but boy, if I was rich, it'd be really easy to sit back as an asshole and tell people to buy a house with cash, right? Fortunately, I live in reality with the rest of you. And I'm doing good today.
You've done
phenomenal today. That's because I didn't take that medicine when I saw the unicorn. So you got these guys out there that say, I mean, let's take him as an example. He's the 800-pound gorilla in the room on this one. He is the most populous guy out there going, don't use credit. I don't use credit. He says, I've got a FICO score of 0. Rick, does he have a FICO score of 0?
No.
What's the range for FICO score?
350 to 850, 300 to 850, depending on the scale.
Dave Ramsey's got a FICO score of 0? Busted. All right. Also, he says he's never used credit cards. He's never used these things. You know, bankruptcies are a matter of public record.
Busted.
And I'll tell you what, if his programs are so phenomenal and you shouldn't touch credit cards, explain to me why he accepts Visa, MasterCard, American Express, and Discover when you want to buy his programs. Just putting that out there. I don't dog the competition. Don't worry. He's not competition.
I will throw this in there. And I agree 100% with what Jeremy just outlined there. And we sometimes do this as well. We'll err on the side of extreme conservative, extreme money management.
Of course.
I think there's a principle behind financing a vehicle at 18% that says you maybe shouldn't finance that vehicle until you fix your credit. But it's absolutely a myth that you can buy an asset and enjoy it with your family, enjoy it with your friends today, and wait till you have enough cash to do that. It's not realistic. It's absolutely not realistic. I'll also go as far as to say this: all of you that are looking to buy a house, finance a house, and get the cooperation and financing from a bank to do so, chase that dream. Don't wait.
Go for it.
Go for it. Don't wait. This, when I bought my first house, interest rate going at the time was 8.25%. And at that time, it seemed like such a large amount.
Yep.
Go for it. Money is being lent at 4.5%, 4%. Go chase that dream.
Yeah, we're still at all-time low price. I heard an ad on the radio for Rocket Mortgage, and the rates are going up. Now we are at historic all-time lows. If I had this rate, if I had the go up 2%, it's still so much lower than what I paid on my first house, on my first mortgage.
Oh, absolutely. Now, and the other thing that
I don't want it to go up 2%, to be perfectly honest.
No, but how motivated is the average, or I would say the most of the people listening to this or that will listen to this video, how motivating is it to get up in the morning on a Monday morning and go to work your 8, 10, 12-hour day, and come home and on Friday pay a rent payment? Pay somebody else's mortgage.
Yeah. Your landlord will thank you for paying his mortgage.
Versus how much more motivating it is to be sitting here on a Wednesday night, helping a small business grow, helping you all learn about credit, knowing that when I go home tonight, I'm going into a home. Yes, I needed a bank's cooperation to finance, but it's my home.
Yeah, I still got a payment, but you know what? It's mine. I got to still mow the backyard. It sucks, but damn it, it's my backyard.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely.
No credit. No credit's good. Don't use credit. Busted.
Busted.
Big time busted. Big time busted. All right. What else we got here? Say hi to my boyfriend, Zach, who is happily listening, please, says Ashley. Ashley, or Zach, pardon me, Zach, Ashley says hi, and we'll have her home by midnight. Tomorrow. All right, let's see. Susan says, what if you haven't taken off your credit report but can't afford to settle it? Ooh, that's collections. Yeah. What if you have it deleted but can't afford to settle it? That's a great question.
That is a great question.
It's more of a question than a myth. But by the way, me taking Ashley home that was myth.
Wishful thinking.
I know. I can't believe I got to try it. So anyway, my wife would kill me. What if you can't afford to pay it right then? I'm going to ask you this. What's the difference between today's situation and having it removed from your credit situation? Right now, you can't afford to have it paid either way. But if it's gone, number one, it's not impacting your score. And keep in mind, it's not gone because, we got rid of a valid debt. It's gone because they failed to follow their legal obligation and verify upon demand per the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Black and white.
I'll jump in because I think sitting behind this is another myth. All right, and we could go on all night about myths, but behind this question is another myth, which is, what are or let me rephrase it. They didn't verify it because they didn't have the information. I'll put that out there. Right? They didn't verify the information. They didn't verify the information because they didn't have it. Therefore, it was deleted, and we'll leave it at that. Is that a valid reason why they didn't verify the information? That's because they, for whatever reason, couldn't find Jeremy Deysach. They couldn't find out anything about him, and boy, they struggled to find that late payment that you made back in February 2011.
That's because I'm clever.
You are clever, very clever, smart, one of the smartest guys I know. But he'd have a hard time finding from a skip tracing expert and a collection expert like myself. The point is that the information is out there. The better question is, why didn't they verify the information? Why didn't they just send Susie down to record keeping in the bowels of whatever bank you want to name and get that microfiche and sit down at the microfiche and read Jeremy Deysach, February 2011, there it is, 90-day late payment. The answer to that question is money. When a bank or a lender or a creditor or a third-party collection agency doesn't feel that they're going to ever get paid by said Jeremy Deysach,
pretty much right.
Therefore, there isn't an investment to be made in going and paying Susie $11 an hour to run down and record keeping and do it.
Right.
Point is, Susan, you have a right and a responsibility to yourself to get that information updated, verified, and removed from your credit report if it's not able to be proven. All right? It's not able to be proven. And now you have the time frame to relax and decide when I do have the ability to settle it, I can go ahead and settle it on my terms.
Good. Where do we go with that? Was that a myth? Was that what was that? That was a great question.
The question is, the myth is,
okay,
they didn't verify the information because they couldn't find it. That must be the only reason they'd ever fail to verify.
I gotta go plausible.
Okay?
Because it could happen.
It could happen. Okay.
I'm gonna give that plausible. If they're
right.
just really crappy record keepers.
Or if it was a third-party collection that moved to, I don't know, outer space or
yeah,
something.
stuff happens. Stuff happens.
Plausible.
Yeah, but we're leaning towards the busted side on that one, I would say.
I would agree.
All right. Hey, Tiffany's got great ones. My FICO is the most accurate place to get your scores and your real FICO score, your lending FICO score. We see a lot of people posting about my FICO or FICO this or credit. One gives me a free app, or Discover gives me a thing on my phone and it says my FICO score and it tells me it's my FICO. It's my FICO 8.0. It's my lending score. Those are my scores, right?
Is it my FICO or your FICO?
Well, right now it's my FICO.
My FICO?
You can go FICO yourself.
It does. And what's confusing about it is in the words, it says FICO. It must be your FICO score.
Of course. Why wouldn't it be a FICO? It's a FICO score at the end of the day. What you're seeing on these sites is a consumer-facing disclosure version of the FICO score. Here's the deal. This is like quick history of the FICO algorithm. You had FICO 1.0, you had FICO 2.0, you had FICO 3.0. It's like updating Windows. Remember Windows 95? Remember Windows 98 and ME and all that crap? It's like different versions of Windows. They come out with a slightly different version of this algorithm. We're up to FICO 9.0. Actually, it's not fully rolled out, but we're up to it. FICO 8.0 is what people are seeing. Now, not every bank updates all at the same time. Last I heard from my wife, who's at Wells Fargo is using 4.0. Probably shouldn't have said that on a big video because that's probably not Discover or Club.
It's rumored. It's rumored that they use it.
Right. Okay, so far as we know, and okay, so anyway, they use an older version of FICO. That's great. So then, if I know they're using FICO 4.0, well, then I can get my FICO 4.0 score, and I'll know exactly what Wells Fargo sees, right? No. Within each of these different versions, they've got something called a scorecard. And these scorecards, think of them like filters added to a pool of data that come up with a result, right? And I mean, there's different industries.
Oh, there's automobile, there's retail lending, there's commercial real estate, there's single-family dwelling real estate.
Mortgage, right?
There's less
credit cards.
There's all kinds of different scorecards that they can put in front. But I'll go a little deeper, if you don't mind.
Yeah, of course.
Go a little deeper with some of the things behind the mysterious FICO black box, whether it says my FICO or your FICO. FICO started in the industry, and their clients are big banks. Wells Fargo, Citibank, Bank of America, go on down the list. And what they were creating is a private way, not public, meaning Tiffany's not seeing it, I'm not seeing it, Isaac's not seeing it, way for a bank to measure the risk of lending money without the consumer ever seeing it. And it wasn't because they didn't want the consumers to see it. It was like me giving a blood test and determining what my health insurance should be. It was meant to be a private rating behind the scenes.
Well, they called it a risk rating
when
it started. It was a risk rating till millionaires started not liking being called risk. So they said, okay, it's credit. Credit's, credit. I got credit. I got credit. That's fantastic because it's still risk.
So is my FICO displaying my true FICO, or to use Tiffany's term, real FICO credit score?
The answer is no.
That was good.
You like that?
I did.
I got kids.
Well, you don't have hair to see which way your head was.
I used to have a mohawk. It was like waving. It was like a sail. I used to have the greatest hair. That's busted. My FICO, Discover, all those consumer disclosure FICOs. Yeah. While they're fun to look at, that you can print them out even. You can look at it on paper. It's nice. That in an origami class will let you make a swan. That's about as good as they are.
And I don't want everybody to get discouraged or despaired by the fact that they're not seeing their FICO score. It's like, I don't know, I always like to poke fun at my never-ending battle for weight loss, but it's the difference sometimes between weighing yourself at the doctor with grams and ounces and weighing yourself at home, you want to have a good barometer. You want to have a good measure of your trajectory. Where is your score going? Is it going up? Is it going down? Is it going left? Is it going right? And so I think a lot of these systems, like Identity IQ, like Privacy Guard,
which is cheaper than MyFICO.
Which is cheaper than MyFICO, use what's called the Vantage scoring system, VANTAGE, and it's a good barometer of the health of your credit.
At the end of the day, all these things will help you tell if you're kind of doing better, doing worse. And you're looking for a good credit monitoring service that's going to give you the actual data, the nuts and bolts, because if the score doesn't mean much on a FICO branded one and the score doesn't mean much on a Vantage branded one, then who cares? It's the data in it anyway that's making a score at the end of the day.
Right.
Get that in shape and everything works out.
All right. Why don't we see if we have one more question, and then in a second I'm going to throw one more out there.
All right, let's see what else we got. What's a good percentage to settle on a collection, Isaac asks. Well, that's a good question.
That is a great question. Isaac, I'm going to give you the avoidance answer, which is it's going to completely depend upon the original creditor, the age of the account, and the amount.
And how nasty it's gotten. If it's going to a lawyer versus
how much money they've invested in trying to recuperate the asset. It's really gonna vary. There's a big difference between what T-Mobile will expect when they haven't lent you money and what American Express is going to accept when they have lent you money.
Real quick, Bo asks, important question, what are the mods getting for Christmas? That's a great question. It's good things that we have to probably talk about.
A Super Bowl ring.
Yes. No. What? Yeah.
It could happen, Bo. Yeah. It could happen.
Monkeys could fly out of my. Okay, so I fired Gina real quick. I know you want a good builder. Gina said, so I fired the company we were using to fix our credit. When we hire you, will it flag my husband's credit reports with Equifax, Experian when letters are sent to validate and verify? So that's a great question. If you switch companies, is there some sort of flag? Is it going to affect you? Or if you're sending these letters now, does it flag the bureaus? What do you guys say?
Does it wake the giant?
It does. It wake
the big sleeping giant.
Run
for the hills. You've woken up the giant. Fee, fi, fo, fum. They're going to come out of the hills, out of the woodwork, out of the
closet.
Out of the closet, and they're going to club you to death for asking by your right to verify the information. Okay.
Yeah. There's no spectacular. There's no special marks like, hey, I was working with Lexington Law, or hey, I was working with ABC Credit Collection Company, or hey, I was working with some multi-level place. There's nothing that's going to go on there saying that. It'll say the same type of thing: consumer disputes or consumer investigation and process. When it's done, it would say, can either be gone or say consumer, investigation, lender, closed lender. I mean, there's all kinds of comments. So if you're thinking it's going to do that, there you go.
You're busted. That's a great question, Gene.
That's a great question.
I've had that question probably every time someone has experienced working with another, credit service organization, other financial wellness company, is what kind of footprint are you going to leave, and how are we doing this? Great question.
Let's see what else we got going on. Rolling up. You agree with the statement? Tired of paying someone else's mortgage. Yeah. Chris says, thanks for paying my mortgage too. That's because he's a landlord. Boy, we got a lot of questions here.
We do. Well, let's go for it.
Here's just a quick question. It's not a myth, but we're going to hit it quick just because Crystal's asking. It's a great question. Crystal Smith says, what's the next step when information on your credit report comes back accurate after disputing it? What's the next step?
This is one of my favorite articles I write.
Yeah.
All right. Which is keep going. Keep going. All right. Tiffany's been great on the site at getting this point across, which there are many aspects, many angles of any one account that can and should be verified. So that's the answer. Keep moving. You have not done your due diligence by simply going through a 38 to 45 day round of questionings. Right. I would pull back a little bit on the concept of disputing.
Don't dispute something that you know is yours. You're lying.
Yeah.
And am I wrong?
It's also, it is. It's being dishonest and unethical.
Right.
There's two other issues with it. One, you could wake up the sleeping giant.
Yeah, you want to. Yeah, we've. If you look down, there have been some posts about Credit Shield 360's letters, and a number of our members have ended up getting sued based on the verbiage that they said in the letter, because saying specifically, "I dispute that this is mine. Please cease and desist," and that leaves the collector one option, which is to sue you,
which is perceived as refusal to pay.
Yeah, it's refusal to pay. It's litigation, but. Oh God, where was it going with that?
Well, I was going to get two reasons why the dispute thing wouldn't use.
Oh, yeah.
The other thing is it's their language. When you look at the way that Credit Karma does their online disputes, when you look at the way the bureaus do their online disputes, it's a defense mechanism because they don't want to do the work.
Yeah, you don't have all your options are there either.
They present it as, hey, get into an argument with us, dispute this with us,
right.
And it's very passive aggressive to say you're disputing it. You're not disputing it. You're investigating it.
Right.
If you go home to your wife tonight, are you better off accusing her of being somewhere she shouldn't have been, or just asking her where she was? And not in your case, Jeremy.
I'm going to dispute where I was.
No, it's an investigation.
Okay. Yeah, it is. You're investigating the validity of the data. You're investigating the integrity of the data. So what do you do when it comes back verified? Send another letter. There are about 27 different aspects that you can individually question about every account on your credit report. That means 27 rounds of investigation where you never ask the same question twice. That'd take you 3.5 years and be psychotic, but you could do it.
You could spend 42 months doing it.
Awesome question for those of you who haven't read some of the articles, Credit IQ and things like that are posted by Rick, posted by Chris, posted by Chaz, posted by myself, posted by our moderators, the FICO Certified Coaches of the Credilife Financial Wellness Program. If you haven't read those things, there's great resources in this group. We created the group. Right in the beginning, I created the group with the idea that not everyone can afford services. Not everyone needs to bring on a full company, and we all have the same vision. Rick came in, same vision. Chris came in, same vision. Our mods, same vision. All coming in and putting out good quality content. So you can do this yourself, in many cases. And obviously, we love it when you want to hire us, and we love it when you do it yourself and have success. We love seeing both.
Absolutely.
Love that question. Read the articles, guys. Ashley. Oh wait, I better learn your name if I'm going to take you out. Ashley says, how long do you have to settle or pay the debt once you get it removed? If I get something removed, how fast do I need to pay before it's re-reported? Oh, that's a cool question.
And that is an extension in Susan's earlier question where she asked, kind of about the same thing. You added the one thing with how long before it's re-reported.
That's a great question.
Here's what I tell every single client that I work with, and that is be diligent. Okay, be diligent. Back 2 years ago when you were unemployed, you were ignoring your mailbox. You didn't have the funds to respond to whatever life was throwing at you at the time. But when you're doing credit restoration, when you're doing financial wellness, when you are taking the proactive steps that you need to take to better your financial situation, better your buying power, you want to be diligent in looking at your mailbox. All right, do not hold this against me, but I was also a very successful debt collector, okay? I sent out a letter before I called you, all right? I sent out a letter before I called you simply because it was the cheapest and easiest way to get your attention. Don't ignore the mailbox. Don't also assume that just because another collection company ends up with the collection that they're going to automatically report it. It costs money for them to do so, and every time a debt changes hands, the likelihood of it getting paid lessens. So there's less of a tendency for them to want to invest more money in your bad debt.
There's less value to the debt too. So people talked about what do you settle percentages at? Older stuff is going to settle lower than newer stuff.
Absolutely. The answer to the question is there isn't really any guaranteed way to know before it's reporting, other than to be diligent in watching your mailbox. And one other little quick tidbit, this is one of those magical moments. Keep your eye on your credit report.
Oh, man, here we go.
Most of those third-party debt collectors are going to inquire into your credit before they start collection activity. Why? Because they want to know, do you have a $711 Jaguar payment per month? That's probably somebody I'm going to sue.
Yeah.
Versus, boy, this person really looks like they were down on their luck. I'm probably not going to pay to report it.
Right. Cassandra Elaine asks or says, I've heard Dave Ramsey say on a call, credit repair is fraud, myth or fact. I invite you to read through the group. Scroll down. We have 30,000 plus members that we give our info free to. You can buy Dave's class.
Well, I'll throw this out there, and maybe Dave's listening, maybe he's not. I think eventually we'll get his attention. First of all, what constitutes credit repair? Is Tiffany going out and increasing her credit limit on her credit cards next month by double. Let's say she goes from a $500 limit to $1,000, and that fixes her credit to a higher score. Is that credit repair? Is that illegal? Is that unethical? Is the practice of doing that illegal or ethical?
If you do a bankruptcy, and then after it, you never open credit again, and then you say things that aren't real, like you have a credit score of 0, when the range for the FICO algorithm is the 350 to, okay, depending which, every bureau is a little tiny bit different, but basically figure 350, 850, meaning there is no 0. And you never reestablished any credit. You never repaired. You never did anything. You know, do you think you're in a good position to call something a fraud?
Or the millions of letters, investigations we've sent out in our careers, is that illegal? Have you ever gotten a notice from authorities saying you're doing illegal things for acting on your client's behalf for a federal law that was passed called the Fair Credit Reporting Act?
No, I've had really good reviews.
I have gotten good reviews.
So yeah, our buddy Dave, busted.
Twice.
As the clean version of what we say is so full of crap, his eyes are brown.
Now, I will say this in defense of the ethics and the things that Jeremy promotes on the site, sometimes very vehemently. There are unethical credit repair practices.
Oh, heck yeah, there are. Have you heard of something called the shopping cart trick? Have you heard of something, have you heard of getting a number instead of your social? And maybe opening business credit in your kid's name and doing an LLC and stuff like that. Have you heard?
Trade line.
Buying trade lines, renting trade lines.
Buying Social Security number.
Of course. If you're 21 years old, why wouldn't you be on your grandmother's Visa card with a 16-year history? Because your credit report will reflect that you began credit when you're 5 years old. Yeah, and then the fact that in FICO 8.0 and 9.0, it doesn't even really impact them anymore. So yeah, are there fraudulent ways to do things, or immoral, or unethical, or just the wrong way? Oh yeah. Yeah, we can confirm the crap out of that. So, and the other thing is, I bust Ramsey's chops, but I like a lot of what he says, like living within your means and not buying things you can't afford. That is common sense. With the Credilife, with the financial wellness programs we've got, we preach that exact same thing, except we don't exempt a gigantic portion of your financial wellness, which is your credit. Credit's not just used to buy crap. Credit's used to determine your insurance rates, background checks for jobs, security clearances if you're military, or
lease nice office space like that.
Lease an office, but it's used for everything these days. And where do they go? Talk about, is it a fraud? Where do they go to verify and validate you? They go to the world's largest repository of unverified, unvalidated data, the credit bureaus. So yeah, it's probably a good idea to fix that stuff up. It's probably good. But I agree with the dude on this. You all should be spending what you can afford. That's why we don't tell you to max out your credit card. A, it would be bad advice, and B, it would be bad advice. So sorry, I went on a tangent there. I do that sometimes, frequently. What else we got here? Did that kind of answer the question of that we are, Dave Ramsey? All right, the myth is that you don't have to settle right away once it's removed. Yes, that is correct, Susan. Disputing on, Tiffany, thank you, girl. Disputing online.
She must have played softball. She's throwing up these.
Yeah, she's throwing us the easiest. This is like a presidential debate run by CNN. Tiffany said, disputing online is just the same as doing it by mail. Go ahead and dispute online. Let me add to that, too, something I've seen a lot in the group lately. What are the credit bureau's phone numbers? I want to call them and do the disputes, or call them and have my inquiries removed. Call them and have my late payment removed. Call them and have that paid-off collection removed. Disputing by mail versus, the electronic. It's all the same, right?
Credit Karma.
Credit Karma, you can do it right through there, right?
Karma.
So is it the same? Is it the same? Do you know if it's the same?
Do I know if it's the same?
Yeah.
I know if it's the same.
Well, we're supposed to bust the myth if it's a myth.
It's not the same.
It's not the same. No, you give up essentially 2/5 of your legal protections when you do it online, when you do it through technically even fax, but when you do it through online, when you do it through the phone, you agree to electronic results and things like that, so they're not giving you the paper results that you would need to use in court if you ever want to turn around and sue them.
Yeah.
So you're not going to get result letters. You give up the ability to sue if they do something horrific, like, I don't know, like let's say there's a huge data breach at one of the credit reporting bureaus, and they lose everyone's stuff, and you get identity theft because they hired a music major as their head of security.
The one that started with the E.
Started with the E and ended with the Equifax. You give up, those are just a couple of the rights you give up. So you give up a lot of rights. So no, it's not the same. Anyone who tells you the same, bless their hearts, as they say down south, they're wrong. Anyone who says you can call and just have this done, bless their hearts, as they say down south, they're wrong. So are these things the same? Busted.
Not even close.
Not even similar. Chris says, I've got a voluntary car surrender on my credit. Will I have to pay that off before purchasing a home? Don't know specifically on your individual case. It's hard to tell without reviewing a credit report. It'll be up to your mortgage lender. Talk to a prospective loan officer about it. They'll be able to better assess your situation.
I'm going to throw a myth in there real quick, though,
if
you don't mind, Chris. And that is, you use the term, and I'm very analytical about my profession.
I know where this is going.
Okay, and you use the word voluntary, all right? So I'm going to throw this out there. Myth. And that is, does the fact that you voluntarily surrendered the asset, does that have any difference in the impact it has on your credit?
So the myth is that if you voluntarily do it versus having Guido come at 3 in the morning and take you out of your driveway, it's going to be better for you.
Yeah, that's the question.
All right. No. Not much to explain. No. Busted. Yeah, it's going to have the same impact in the FICO algorithm. It could, because I mean, literally, we're down in the comments section in there. It could say, any crazy stuff. You can add your own comments to your credit report. Mine says the streets will run red with the blood of the non-believers. What else we got? Hey, Susan's great at origami. Good. So you'll be able to use my FICO. Byron Lemus. Hello, sirs. Can you please elaborate on your business credit package? Oh, wow. That's a whole conversation.
I tell you what, it's a great question, Byron. What I would expect over the next several weeks is for Jeremy to not only continue with what he already posted this week, which is a pricing breakdown of the services, but some more content to back what the differences are between the credit audit, or the express audit, and the various levels and the various things in there.
And the business credit, the program.
All those pieces.
We actually have an affiliated group. It's at the top of the chat section of Facebook here in the group. You'll see linked groups or admin recommended groups. One of them is called Credibiz. Go ahead and join that up. You'll get more information on that, and it's specific so that when we see something come through that we know it's a business credit one, we know we need to take a little bit more time with the intricacy of the explanations. Hopefully that helps. Let's see what else we got. Jessica. Oh, if I disputed my items online, have I messed up my chances to dispute with Credilife?
It's plausible.
It is plausible.
No, you haven't messed up your opportunity for us to add value to the methodologies and the way that we conduct our investigations.
Right.
The only thing you've taken off the table in the short term is revisiting the aspects that you may have inadvertently verified or investigated differently than we would have.
Yeah, we don't necessarily know what you asked or what the result on that was, even sometimes if you give it to us.
I'm going to give it a plausible. Do not be discouraged, though, with the opportunity for for us or any other professional.
Any other bros, yeah.
To do it right. So it's plausible.
It's on the low side, though. It'll eventually work itself out. Remember, so there's 27 different aspects. We can be psychotic 3.5 years. And
we do it all the time. We have a third of our business comes from somebody else who failed to help somebody effectively fix it.
It might be more than that lately. It's just crazy, just all the people that are out there. I see a lot of people asking for old or invalid addresses to be removed. What benefit does it have, if any? So yeah, turn that into a myth, or a potential myth. We'd say eliminating my old addresses, eliminating name variations, eliminating old employers.
I got married. I changed my last name.
Got married and changed my last name. Eliminating that maiden name will have a positive impact on my credit score. Well, when you take those things off, what you're doing is you actually are essentially snipping some of the threads that can loosely tie some old stuff to your credit report. Where it'll come in handy is in some collections that have changed hands many times. They may not have all the info. It's hard for them to verify and validate. You can snip the threads to that. That might be the only thing that's holding it, as verifiable onto your credit report, so it could go away. But An old past positive might have the exact same situation. So you could snip that thread that's going to keep that past positive from reporting on there. So will it help your credit report? Does it help your credit report? I'd go plausible.
I'd go with plausible. Absolutely. It's plausible. I'll add, yeah, and what Jeremy was alluding at is the idea that, okay, so I paid off a Bronco, Ford Bronco,
right,
7 years ago, and every one of my payments was on time. I could mess something up based upon the address history and get that positive payment history removed.
Sure, sure. All right. We're going to wrap up a little bit. We're getting up towards the end of the hour, so we've got time for like one or two more ads. What I'd like, or ads. We'll be back after these messages. No, it's one or two more myths. What I think we might want to do after this one, I want to
hit this one, and that is
perfect.
Utilization on.
We'll hit that one for sure. Just want to kind of wrap up. If you guys are interested in us doing more myths and doing more of this specific, giving some busted, plausibles, confirmed, so that you know if your credit knowledge is right or not. If you're interested in it, just put interested in the comments, or yes, hey, I'd like more, whatever in the comments.
Or any myths that we didn't cover, go ahead and add to the comments.
Yeah, add them. We can make sure that we for sure cover them the next round. And anyone who asks questions that we didn't get up to, we are going to hit yours in the next one if we do another one. Guaranteed. We're going to do it.
Absolutely.
Let's.
I had one other myth, and this was actually one that I experienced earlier in my career, and that was the idea that if I paid down the balance on a car loan, that it's going to help my utilization of credit.
So like if you pay it down by half.
Well, let's say I owe $40,000 on the Silverado. Mm-hmm. I get my tax return. Mm-hmm. I got $6,000. I'm going to put that towards the Silverado. It's going to help my credit score.
No, it's not. The utilization aspect in the FICO algorithm, the balance to limit ratio, that's for revolving accounts. Accounts you can charge up, you can pay down, you can pay them off, you can use them again as long as you're happy with the bank. Bank's happy with you, they can revolve forever. Credit cards, lines of credit, overdraft lines of credit, retail credit cards, home equity lines of credit. Home equity lines of credit. Chris Kruger is in here. He's one of the FICO Certified Credilife financial wellness coaches, and one of the coaches that you've encountered in the group. So home equity lines of credit, all those lines of credit, yeah, you pay those down. You keep that 1 to 3% balance limit ratio, that sweet spot. You're going to juice your score. Things are going to be great. Doesn't apply to installment accounts.
The idea that paying down a fixed installment loan will improve your credit.
Busted. All right, we're going to wrap things up a little bit. We will be uploading this to the YouTube channel because that's what the fancy kids, the new kids are using on the Blinky Shiny. We're going to upload this to the YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel is Creditv, CREDITV. If you have not yet followed us on YouTube, you are missing out. We have got all kinds of good information. We've got past question and answers. We've got Facebook Lives in there. We've got some pre-canned videos that we've made up. We have even got our financial foundations and credit class that we teach for the Minneapolis Public School System community outreach. All of those things are there. If you have not followed us on Creditv, get on there. If you have not shared the free credit repair advice group with your friends, family, or anyone else you think could use it, even in other groups you're in, grab the link from the top of the group. Give it a share. We are what's known as a closed group, so it's a little harder to find us. We are also what's known as a closed group, meaning people who are not in the group cannot see what you're posting within the group. So it's safe. We're a safe haven that way, that your financial information, if you post and say, look, I'm having trouble with this car loan, you're not going to get judged by it. Your employer's not going to find it unless they're in the group too. Tell you what, if they're in the group too, neither of you are talking about it.
They can learn something.
They may learn something.
Awesome.
So share it. Share the link. This group, in less than a year, grew to 30,000 members from the initial 8 that I opened it up for so I could post one video. It's amazing, and it's grown organically. It's grown because you guys care. It's grown because the coaches care, moderators care.
I'll throw one other piece out there too, and that is, we're not going to be the #1 search on Google, at least for a while, until Mastermind over here gets us there, but he will. If you have friends, if you have relatives, if you're going to spend time with people over the holidays, and you feel like you're going to spread a myth, or maybe you don't know how to articulate the types of answers we've given today, invite them to the group. I have many times over the last couple of weeks approved people to be members of the group, that there's already 16 members.
Yeah, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 friends in the group. We get to see that if you've got other friends and stuff that are in the group. That's awesome. That's what makes us a big family.
Is it a myth that free credit repair advice is a source of good, positive, uplifting credit advice?
No, that's confirmed, man. That's confirmed. For Credilife Financial Wellness Program, for the free credit repair advice group for Credit TV. You'll keep watching every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Central Time. We'll be having this again. If you want more and you are on a computer, go ahead and put your, hey, please give me more, your questions there. If you're on a iPad, a tablet, a mobile phone, or whatever blinky, shiny thing you like to use, go ahead and ask those questions. For Credit TV, I'm Jeremy Deysach, FICO Certified Senior Credilife, what are we calling it? Financial Wellness. We're going to the phrase financial wellness because your credit doesn't operate in a vacuum. This isn't just credit.
Absolutely not. For Rick Wenner and the rest of the Credilife family, thanks for listening.
And Chris Kruger. Give a shout out.
Thank you. Have a good night.
All right. Bye, guys. We'll see you again.